2. You got it.
Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to the Too Sweet Podcast. We are reviewing AEW Dynamite.
Yes, indeed, AEW Dynamite and all of the fallout from NXT. What really happened? Did the Wednesday Night Wars kill off NXT? We're going to jump into all of that. First, you can find us at linktr.ee/2sweetpod. That's where all our listings are for this podcast. On Twitter as well, at 2sweetpod. And you can see all of our Twitter names if you're watching on YouTube as well. So first and foremost, what should we hop into first? You know what? NXT. Okay, you got it, boss. You got it. Man, so I'm watching SmackDown last Friday, and it's a ton of releases that go down. And like at that point, nobody's watching SmackDown anymore. Everybody's just talking about all of the releases. And like 5 minutes later, we get the report from PW Insider. WWE is looking at a number of changes for NXT. Completely changing the brand. It's from PW Insider, excuse me. They want to update NXT with a new logo, a focus on younger talent. Are you kidding me? In a different format. Dave Meltzer also chimed in. He said they want younger, bigger talent that could eventually main event WrestleMania. And he also closed with, he stated that the changes are the result of NXT losing its war with AEW, and he said that they want no more midgets and no one starting in their 30s. Like, what is your thoughts on all of this chaos that is going on in NXT?
Vince.
Yes.
Vince, you goddamn egomaniac.
Man, it's like the NWO promo. I'm gonna inject it with a lethal injection of poison or something like that. That's what he's doing. And like NXT was a thing. They were the first alternative to WWE. And I look at some of this stuff, man. When they say that they're looking to change it, like there's nothing that needs to be changed. And like this whole report, Vince and these guys are stuck in the 90s where the bigger, larger than life guy was the guy in your wrestling promotion. And look, man, you got to change with the times. Like the smaller athletic guy is in now. And like they have plenty of guys coming out of NXT that could be great. The reason that most of them are not great is that they get to the main roster and they try to switch up who they are. So this report, man, like nothing's gonna change to me. You mean to tell me, okay, if you start focusing on younger, bigger guys, when they get caught up to the main roster, that's gonna change? Like you look at a lot of guys, whether they were small or big, once they get to the main roster, all hell breaks loose. The character gets changed. Something gets changed about the entrance, and then they're not the same. So I don't get this, man. Looking at it overall, what really sent us down this path, in my opinion, is the Wednesday Night War. The Wednesday Night War sent us down this path because Vince was on this kick to eliminate AEW, and in the process, what he did was do more damage to NXT than he ever could have imagined. And now that NXT clearly lost out on the war, Vince feels like things need to change when NXT is just fine, man. And this is very sad to see. Like NXT going out like this is, man, I used to love NXT, man. Loved it down to my heart. And it's just tough to see how it's all going down, man. Any other thoughts you got on this?
I really enjoyed that for what it was, and going to live events and enjoying it.
Right.
Seeing the names released during SmackDown sort of like broke my heart. I was like, what is happening?
Right.
Like, is this real? Like these names? These names are building NXT, and they should have stayed with them. But it also goes to maybe Vince is all like, if Bliss is doing well and bringing in a lot of money with this character and the cinematic way of presenting her, he's probably like, let's double down on what made us good in the beginning. Those larger life characters.
Wow.
And then also to have like, well, I mean, firing Bray Wyatt was like one thing because he could be a cash cow along with Alexa Bliss and all that.
Right.
But it's a lot of different factors. Like when you release those guys into the indie wild, I'm gonna say, you sort of have people picking them up, giving them money, and I still go with that because TK has a large bank account.
Yeah.
He's just sending it to them. Being like, yo, TK, how many can you sign?
You said that last week?
You have in the bank. I'm still going to go with that, where Vince is trying to bankrupt him from the inside out. This is just Vince's ploy. And then we could also think about it as if, like, maybe they're doing this and then making it a freaking story angle and going to bring them back. I do believe that if they go up to the main roster, you have, 50 guys in a writing room? And you can't write a fucking character to save life? That's kind of weird.
Yeah, that's where I'm at, man. Like, what realistically do they expect to change? And like, I just don't see where the change is coming from. When you okay, say we're going back to where NXT used to be, to where it was just like purely developmental and nothing else. Let me get somebody else in here. I see a request. Oh, Marie fell off. Okay, but if you go back to where NXT was, like, I don't see purely the difference or what difference is going to be made going forward.
Right.
So,
personally,
go ahead.
For me, I think the whole thing is just pointless. Not the war. It brought in ratings. But the whole infight with Vince and Paul.
Right. Like, I think in some strange of ways, I remember this report came out some time ago. I don't know if it was Meltzer or whomever else. They said that Vince would play this game with Triple H to where Triple H would bring these guys up and Vince would play this game with them and hope that they would fail to prove that Triple H and NXT was wrong. And like, there is something there with Vince and Triple H, because you can't tell me that Triple H is just on board with this, with all this news, all of these recent stories and whatnot. So there's something there with Vince and Triple H that I just don't get. Like, okay, NXT was this one thing, but like not a thing on the USA Network. Like, man, what are you doing? And I just think we're on the way to NXT being ECW, WWE ECW, and that's very sad. That's very sad, man.
I wanted to jump in. I thought I fixed the echo. Anyway, to your point, you have to remember that Vince is so old school that I bet you back in the day, that's what they did as like the rub. To be like, yo, let's joke on this kid and let's see if he can survive. And if he survives all the bullshit I throw at him, then, he can make it on the main roster.
Right. I could definitely see that as well. And I just hope, man, okay, we got all these guys and girls in NXT currently, like stars. And like, what's going to happen? Like, I don't want to say I'm intrigued, but I am. But I'm intrigued with worry, if that makes sense. I am intrigued with worry. So if there's any final thoughts, or if there isn't any final thoughts on NXT, if you got anything, we'll move on to some AEW. Index. Oh yeah, they are.
Dexter Loomis. Oh my God.
Yeah, they are back. Go ahead, you got
Dexter, it. But come on, Johnny. Come on, Candace.
I found that whole thing to be pretty funny. That whole date and them getting caught and the cake getting thrown in Loomis's face. Huh?
Candace and Johnny, they need to work on their marriage. I just mean on screen.
Yeah.
Not off screen.
Yeah. Yeah. But I mean, I guess I found the whole thing to be pretty entertaining on that last most recent episode of NXT. But nevertheless, I guess we can move on to some AEW.
One more thing. Let's send congratulations to Johnny Gargano and Candice LeRae for their little one on the way.
Oh, wow. Big congratulations.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Congrats on them being parents.
That is awesome. That is awesome. A little Gargano on the way. Where was I? Oh, AEW. Dante Martin, Mike and Matt Sydal versus the Elite opened up the show, and man, Dante Martin, freaking star, man. And I tweeted this out. I said, don't make the mistake of thinking these young guys in AEW are close to their ceiling, because imagine what they'll be in 5 to 10 years. Like, imagine what Dante Martin is going to be in 5 to 10 years if he's already great now. He stole the show in that match. What did you guys think of Dante Martin, Mike and Matt versus the Elite?
Having siblings, I swear to God, it's crazy.
Oh yeah.
And his brother.
Oh yeah. They are stars, man, and who knows where they would go. AEW has so many tag teams to where, some guys can kind of get lost in the shuffle. And when Dante Martin, finally comes back, and it's like, whoa, man, that dude is ridiculous. That dude is ridiculous. Nevertheless, the ending kind of went a little long for me. Nevertheless, the Elite picks up the victory. And you know what? After that, out came Christian. And the Jurassic Express. We went to commercial break, but we come back and Christian, the title shot is official at All Out. It'll be Christian versus Omega, and at Rampage, it'll be Christian and Omega for the Impact title. Also, it will be the Jungle Express versus the Bucks next week for the Tag Team Championships. What are you guys' thoughts on that?
I don't understand it, because there should be an Impact guy.
Thank you.
Heading for the Impact Championship fans. I get it. I'm not sitting on Christian, but it's just the idea of, why are we having AEW versus AEW for an Impact Championship title when it should be Impact trying to take the ball back home to the home turf? Like, I love the partnership, but it doesn't make sense. They have a whole guy back there in Impact, and he choose Christian for this one. I don't get it.
Right. Like, and I tweeted this out afterwards. Ever since the Forbidden Door has been open, outside of the Good Brothers, there hasn't been an Impact wrestler to show up on Dynamite or Dark. And this was... What's up?
Kira Hogan.
She was on Dark.
She's no longer in the company, though.
Yeah, Sami Callihan.
He showed up?
Yep.
when he fought Kane.
Ah, okay. Yeah. But yeah, I'm totally with you. Like, this was a perfect time. You save Christian and Omega for All Out, and you have an Impact guy come out. You know, I want to take the boat home. Let's do it on the first episode of Rampage. That would have been perfect. That way you save Christian and Omega for All Out.
Yeah, instead of having a swerve where Christian is like, hey, guess what? I have an Impact contract too.
Yeah, don't swerve us. And nevertheless, on that, Christian and Omega at All Out. Now, I've been on my Hangman Page kick for however long now. He should be at All Out. He should have the match. And you know, one of my mutuals, I forget who it was on Twitter, told me that, you know, Hangman's wife is pregnant, and that maybe that's the reason that they're pushing this off. And if that's the reason, then family first. You go take care of the missus. Go take care of the newborn. Family first. But if the reason is, you know what, Punk is gonna be there, Brian may be there, so that won't be Hangman's night. I gotta say, Steve Austin could show up, and that'll still be Hangman's night if Hangman was on the ropes at the end of the night with the belt. So I'll wait for it to play out. If family reasons is the reasons why Hangman is out, then I totally understand it. What do you guys think about, you know, it not being Hangman at All Out?
I'm still on the fence about it. Just because they waited so long to pick up the momentum again with the storytelling. I would agree with you that, you know, if Austin could come back, you know, it wouldn't be a problem, like, to have that type of, like, analytical look to it. But unfortunately, Hangman doesn't have that star power to quiet out the rest of the internet wrestling community that wants a Daniel Bryan, that wants a CM Punk. And I'm probably going to say it on here, so if you get heat, bring it to me. I honestly believe that the wrestling industry passed both of those guys up. They are both one-hit wonders now, and they don't need to be in the business. Because I honestly don't know what kind of value they're going to give to the younger guys that are doing well on their own, and they have a lot more other coaches to look up to. That's just my thing. So if you get heat for that, just bring it over to me. Just tag me. I'll get the heat for it. I don't care. But it's the fact that, you know, this is supposed to be Hangman's night. Hangman's chasing his redemption because all of his friends burned him and all of his friends left him out to dry. Like, adding Christian into the mix doesn't make any sense. It shouldn't make sense until after Hangman got the belt.
Right.
But the fact that we're doing this now, it's like, you haven't built up a star to quiet out all those nostalgia people who can't get over the fact they have to like new wrestlers. And Heyman has been doing this for a while, and he's been in the same down in the dirt character.
Right.
I need him to grow. I don't need to talk about Punk and Daniel Bryan competing because that's stopped. Heyman's growth.
Well, I'll tell you this. Oh, go ahead. Go ahead, Revenant.
Holy crap. I understand everything. And it totally makes sense. Like, I'm depressed.
Yeah.
I can understand. From a Hangman's point of view.
Well, I'll go ahead. I'll tell you. Yeah, I think that's where we're all at. I mean, I'll tell you this much, Marie. I will disagree that Daniel and CM Punk wouldn't help out the younger roster. I think they would uplift them to have those type of names in the ring. However, what I will say is this: if not now for Hangman, what happens if we get to a point and Daniel Bryan is there, he's established? What happens if the crowd wants to see Daniel Bryan win the world title? We've been down that road And like, if we get months down the way and they're like, okay, let's do Hangman now, and Omega now, and the crowd is yesing, and the crowd wants Daniel Bryan, then you got to give the crowd what they want. So we're kind of playing a dangerous game here with Hangman not winning the title at All Out.
Which is true, that you do have to give the fans what they want sometimes. But if you give in and you have Daniel Bryan get the championship, you failed Hangman Adams Page.
You have.
The first sign for AEW. It's like, no, guys. Like, you guys got to wait your turn with this. Like, it's Hangman's time. Whether or not he was going to win at All Out, he could win at Full Gear. I just really want this story to have a completion to where Hangman gets his redemption and the Elite realize that they're shitty friends up until now.
Yes, it needs to end.
And let me explain that here.
Go ahead.
I know what it's like to have shitty friends. I've been
Don't we all?
part.
Don't we all?
It's like, don't want to say the word. What's important?
Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed.
Don't give a fucking thing about it.
Yes,
So for
indeed, man.
everybody, for the followers and everybody,
Yes, indeed.
always know your true friends, the real ones.
Yes, indeed. Ones that stick by you side by side. So we'll move on to the next match at hand. And that was Garby versus Daniel Garcia. And I gotta say, I saw these two coming down to the ringside and I was like, oh, this is gonna be a squash. And it wasn't a squash. Daniel Garcia looked really good in this one. And this is a pretty decent match. Darby, of course, gets the win with the coffin drop. 1, 2, 3. And he got the dub there. Sting and Darby cleared him out afterwards. What were you guys' thoughts here?
Even though my nephew is a Darby fan, congrats.
Oh, yeah.
Swear to God. Darby and Sting tag titles.
You know what? That'd be pretty cool, I gotta say. That'd be pretty... a short run. Like, they don't have to have a long run, but a short run with the tag titles, I would buy that for $1. I would buy that.
$5. I'll buy that for $5.
Darby gets the win. If there's no other thoughts, I'll move on. Alrighty, we will move on to Private Party with Matt Hardy versus OC Willer, Chucky T, OC and Willer Yuta, with Chucky T. And this was one match that, man, it was a lot of people coming down the ringside getting involved here. Private Party, Matt Hardy picks up the victory. And here's my thing with Private Party, Matt Hardy. Like, Private Party to me needs to disband from Matt Hardy because they just do not have the same momentum that they once did, once they, when they got initially into AEW. So that's my take on Private Party and Matt Hardy. What do you guys think about that match?
I'm going to agree with you. Private Party needs to break away from Matt Hardy. It has not helped them. They are my guys. They're from out here, from New York.
Wow.
So, like, I feel bad for them, man. I'm like, they had something going with, it's a private party. It's by invitation only. Like, that could have went pretty far.
The red rope.
Until they decided to maybe change and become heel or whatever you want to call it. But it would have got over, and it was getting over. And by the way, that match was WCW written all over it. With all the people on the outside, interfering, beating up this guy. Yeah, WCW.
Yeah, I gotta agree on that one. a whole lot of chaos going on ringside and in the ring. A little bit too much for my taste. If anybody has any thoughts, any final thoughts on that,
Brazilian.
I'm sorry.
what's up?
Brazilian. What are your thoughts?
She has a.
Oh, yeah. I was going a little bit. Got out of the shower. I felt that we were blending in with best friends. It would have been like this for me really great. And so seeing like a faction, like divided small faction out in the blend.
You're kind of breaking up, Resilient.
I think it's too much.
I think it's the echo.
Well, it works. Okay.
Well, I guess we could. You were kind of breaking up just a little bit, Resilient. I could hear you, but I couldn't hear you. But I guess we could move on to the next topic at hand. We are going to be getting Andrade versus Pac at All Out. Like, that is, my goodness. Like, I don't know if this is a first time match or not, but it's going to be the first time I've ever seen it.
It's going to be an interesting match.
Like, yes, this is one of the matches I'm looking forward to. What do you guys think on that?
It's going to be interesting as hell.
Yes, that is a candidate for match of the night, man. That All Out is just stacked.
I've seen Andrade versus Ray.
Oh, yes.
Classic.
Yes, the matches that they were having on SmackDown was just, yes. Chef's kiss. Where is JP at?
SmackDown and Raw.
Yeah.
It's going to be chemistry with Pac too.
Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. Very exciting. So as we move on to Nyla Rose versus Chris Statlander, when these two came out, I was like, okay, I'm looking forward to this one. But nevertheless, as Marie pointed out on Twitter, that was like a 2 to 3 minute match, and Chris Statlander hits the area 451 and gets the dub. Man, that one, like, I thought that they would get a longer match out of that one, and really not much there. What do you guys think on that one?
I wasn't expecting it to have a clean finish. I think that's what threw me off. Because it was a clean finish, I was like, that felt like 2 minutes.
Yeah, it was very surprising.
An upset for the clean finish.
Right. I thought that, you know what, they would protect Nyla in that one too, or protect whomever lost in that one as well. So yeah, very surprised finish. I mean, even the announcers seemed surprised whenever the finish went down, the 3 count went down. So Chris Statlander picks up the victory, and if there's no final thoughts on that one, we can move on. All right, we'll move on to Britt Baker. We were in Brittsburg last night, and Britt Baker comes down, and just the crowd is just all over. We got the terrible towels waving around, and it was just they panned out, camera panned out, and Britt is in the middle of the ring. The terrible towels are just waving everywhere. It was a tremendous visual, and Britt Baker ran down, and like she's at this point, the crowd is turning her into a face. I don't care how much they want to label Britt as a heel, the crowd is just cheering her and turning her into a face. What do you guys think about Britt Baker's promo on Red Velvet?
Let me say this. Holy shit. Holy fucking shit. Britt fucking Baker.
Kind of breaking up.
There's so that I go to.
What's up?
There's an echo.
Okay, I can hear you guys now.
Thank you.
Okay. Britt Baker. Holy crap. Pittsburgh went nuts.
Yes, man. Like,
Good one.
yeah, in a good way. In a good way. And
Oh,
yeah, I kind of tell you, I thought she was gonna do the heel thing and run down the crowd for a little bit, but they didn't. I'm glad they didn't go that way. Nevertheless, I gotta say that Red Velvet, they've kind of positioned her as the person to get booed. I guess I can say I would have rather them have picked a heel instead of Red Velvet. Nevertheless, crowd was all over Britt Baker. Pittsburgh was all over Britt Baker.
I want to mention quickly, that's what happens when you try to build your women's division again, when you don't really build it, and you have most of the women on Dark doing stories that should be on Dynamite, and other people should go to Dark, which I think I know what your next topic is going to be, and I'll leave it for that. But then again, you don't, I mean, their women's division is not, it's good. It's just that you don't think about things.
Right. And yeah, Red Velvet, you positioned her to get booed, so you might as well I agree with that. You might as well get a heel in there if somebody's gonna get booed. Nevertheless, as we move on here, the Good Brothers versus Evil Uno and Stu Grayson, and this was for the Impact Tag Team Championships. It was a very nice touch to have Scott D'Amore on commentary as the Impact titles are being defended.
always love them. Even in Team Canada.
Yes, I love the dude in Team Canada. I was a big TNA fan. Loved them in Team Canada. Nevertheless, this match here was pretty decent. I liked the match. The near falls that Evil Uno and Stu Grayson had was pretty decent. We got a distraction finish at the end. The brothers pick up the win. What did you guys think?
I was gonna say that the in-ring psychology was all off. The in-ring psychology was all off, and I'm not sure what's up with the Good Brothers. But I did tweet out saying that I can tell you why the Gorillas of Destiny are one of the best tag teams. But I can't tell you why the Good Brothers are. And I think that match was a testament to it. I was like, it made no sense.
Wow.
Anyway, I would have loved Evil Uno and Stu Grayson to pick up the Impact Tag Team Championship title, even if it was just for a little while, right? Imagine them going to Resurgence with those titles, and everything changes. And then the next night on New Japan Strong, have like a triple threat match. The Good Brothers, Dark Order, like whoever else they want to throw in there, probably like Benji, right? It'll be the greatest thing in history.
Yeah, that's pretty cool.
Did you notice that, like, Scott D'Amore is okay to come over to do commentary, but he can't bring any of the knockouts?
Right.
AEW? We have been asking since the beginning of this, like, partnership to bring over the knockouts. Diana needs more challengers. Why doesn't she come over?
Right.
But seriously, bring over the knockout.
Yeah, why doesn't Jordan Grace come over? Like, we got Tennille Dashwood. Man, we got some money matches.
Money. Everybody loves money.
Yes.
People like throwing money, right?
If it makes dollars, it makes sense. And that makes sense. Yes, that makes sense. Distraction finish. I loathe distraction finishes, but the brothers pick up the victory.
Wait, you do? Why do you like distraction finishes?
No, I said I loathed. I hate them.
Oh, you hate them? Okay.
Yeah.
I was like, wait, that's interesting. I've never heard of that before. I don't like distraction finishes.
Oh, no.
Actually, you want to get in on this?
So if there's any other final thoughts on Good Brothers Evil Uno, I'll move on. If not,
I kind of wish that there was like some sort of invasion, like at the end, like Ace Austin, Madman Fulton, or someone, to make it more interesting. But anyways.
Yes, I would have to agree with that. I think like the forbidden door is open, but there's so much more that could be had. With doing the forbidden door that we haven't addressed yet, or haven't even gone down the road of yet. Nevertheless, as we move on, we have the QT Marshall apology in quotes there. Nevertheless, it wasn't an apology. QT Marshall was just there to beat up poor Tony Schiavone's son. And they put the beat down on him. QT hits the diamond cutter. And out comes Paul White. No longer the Big Show. Sorry. Paul White comes on. He choke slams Aaron Solo. What did you guys think of that whole back and forth?
Match in a while.
What's that?
First match in a while. That's gonna be fun.
So it's looking like if we get Paul White versus Aaron Solo or whomever, what would you guys think about that?
Solo.
No. I need that to be on Dark. Like, it needs to be on Dark. We could have used that time for maybe a knockout segment, maybe another woman segment, maybe another angle segment. No one cares about QT on their TV. That rhymes for no reason. QT on their TV.
You pulled it, you don't know it. Yeah, I gotta agree. Like, doesn't feel like we're going anywhere substantial with that. Like, there's the Big Show, and here he's out to choke slam somebody, and then we move on to commercial. So,
yeah, all of AEW's roster, the one that I'm less interested in, it's maybe QT Marshall. I mean, I don't care. I don't want him on my TV either.
Yes, I gotta agree with that. So as we move on to the final match of the night, the Labors of Jericho. And we got down to, what is the reason why they call it the 5 Labors of Jericho? Maybe he's giving birth. I don't know. Maybe we'll see. It was Jericho versus Wardlow. And am I remembering this wrong or what? Wasn't MJF supposed to be the guest referee?
Yeah.
Like, what the heck happened on that one? Man, that is like they forgot the stipulation or whatnot, I guess. Nevertheless, it's Jericho, it's Wardlow. We got a decent match. MJF got kicked out, trying to pass off the ring to Wardlow. Jericho wins, and post-match, Sammy Guevara tried to make the save. He got beat down for his troubles, and we come up to find out that it's going to be MJF, it's going to be Jericho. And the last stipulation is that Jericho cannot use the Judas effect, and he will come down to no music. The crowd cannot sing along. What do you guys think?
That is what's going to happen.
That's complete.
Judas is we are the champions of wrestling. That's impossible.
I'll tell you what I think is going to happen. The crowd is just going to sing it.
I think we should get painless. What even singing?
I think the crowd is just going to say, screw it. We're going to sing it a cappella.
Yeah,
that would...
I'll be like, yo, let's start off the chorus.
The crowd is somebody's going to start it, and then the crowd is just going to catch on. One by one. Yes, indeed. I gotta say the not being able to use the Judas effect, I thought that was I don't know if I can say weak stipulation, but I was looking for a little bit more out of the last stipulation. Nevertheless, go ahead.
Obviously, MJF has not seen the greatest promo that Chris Jericho did in WCW He is the man of 1,001 homes. He could do the arm bar. He could do the arm drag.
Yes, indeed. He has arm bar. Yes, he has them all. Man of 1,004. Man of 1,004. Nevertheless,
excuse me, I'm man of 1,004.
Yes, 1,004. 1,004 holds.
1,001.
Don't short him. Who should win the match next week? Is it Jericho? Is it MJF?
Jericho.
Jericho.
Story-wise, Jericho, because he's been giving birth to all of his wins. And for business-wise, MJF, because I can see Jericho taking some time off, because he needs some time off.
He does.
MJF is still going to be there. So business-wise, MJF wins. Story-wise, Jericho wins.
I have got to agree with that. Well, I'm gonna go with MJF. When it comes to a very young guy and a very old guy, I'm gonna always pull for the very young guy to win the match. Even though, MJF has been torturing the dude. Like you say, story wise, Jericho should win. But I'll be pulling for MJF.
Hell yeah.
Yes, indeed.
I mean, for a lot of reasons, it makes sense.
Yes, it does. Yes, it does. I gotta agree with that. So that is it.
And we also have
Go
our
ahead.
anime corner as well.
What's that?
We have our anime corner as well.
Next week on that one. I still have to catch up on the latest one. Getting this Into Your Eternity. I gotta watch episode 2.
And also Demon Slayer.
What's that?
And also Demon Slayer.
Yes, that as well. So
just keep me updated.
I definitely will. We made it through an episode, and there's no JP to trash Rey Mysterio. This feels kind of weird.
You still need to look. For one good match.
Yeah.
For one good match of Rey Mysterio.
I have to find a match that's different from all the other Rey Mysterio matches. I guess we'll get to that next week. But oh yeah. Yes, indeed. I'll get in touch with him.
You're gonna get your wish.
I'm sure he's jumping for joy somewhere. But nevertheless, that is it. That is the AEW review. We've discussed NXT as well. We will be back next Thursday, and we'll see how it goes down on Rampage as well. We'll be talking about that as well. That is it, guys. I shall see you guys next week.
All right, see you next week.
Thank you. See you.
All right. Thank you, guys.
Enjoy Rampage.
Yes, indeed.
And Triple and Resurgence.
Yes, indeed. Will do. Thank you, guys.